The time is 4:30, and this is WKYT This Morning. Brush fires have been breaking out across southern and eastern Kentucky over the last couple of days. Now the Forest Service is stepping in. We'll show you why.
Today marks 1 year since Officer Daniel Ellis was shot in the line of duty. Family and friends are thinking of new ways to honor him over the next few days.
And the driver who police say killed 2 men, including a Louisville police detective, has been booked now into the Fayette County Detention Center. Those stories and your weather forecast for the weekend all coming up on WKYT This Morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning. It's your Friday. We're glad you're on WKYT to start off this day. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Andrea Walker. It's great to see you. It is Friday, November 4th. Doesn't it feel good?
It does. Lots going on this weekend. You know,
yeah.
Kentucky-Georgia game at home. That should be a good one. The weather's going to be cooperative, it sounds like, for that, and lots of events. Let's check in with meteorologist Micah Harris.
We got a big basketball game coming up on Sunday, too. A lot going on this weekend. You're right, Bill. And outside right now, I mean, it actually feels like November. We got the rain. It's already pushed on through. Defender Radar Network looking good this morning, so the rain's long gone. Temperatures are there in the 50s, so it's not extremely cold outside, but, you know, it's just you're starting to feel that difference of temperatures out and about. And we're going to have that later on this afternoon, too. Upper 50s, lower 60s. You have a bit of a wind anywhere from 10 to 15 miles per hour, so that's going to bring a chill in the air out of the north and northwest. How long do we hold on to that? Because actually the weekend looks a little bit better temperature-wise. I'm going to show you that coming up in a few minutes.
And in the news this morning, we've been telling you over the past couple of days about brush fires breaking out across southern and eastern Kentucky. Some of them have even forced schools to close in Pike County.
With so many fires burning, the Kentucky Emergency Operations Center has been activated to help counties dealing with them. WKYT's Garrett Weimer has the latest on the situation.
These eastern Kentucky hills continue to burn, filling the air with smoke and these people with fear.
When you're surrounded on all sides, it's very scary. You have no place to go except through it.
In Harlan County, some folks are even fighting the flames themselves.
Whenever the wind picks up, you just can't do anything with it. All you see is just flames and smoke.
Meanwhile, here at the State Emergency Operations Center in Frankfort, representatives from each state cabinet are coordinating efforts to put out the fires. State officials were briefed throughout the day as crews responded to 44 fires. They say more than 6,000 acres have burned since it all began. Governor Matt Bevin declared a state of emergency. And the National Guard deployed choppers carrying 600-gallon buckets to drop water on the fires from the air.
The response is in progress. It is well within our control at this point, and we are methodically walking through these areas.
Driving down the highway, you can see the smoke and ash. But for neighbors on the front lines of these fires, it's a battle to protect their homes.
Last night we sat up all night watching it, and this morning it was around my house. The closest place was 40 to 50 feet.
Even while they work, they're waiting for help and more rain. Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Over in Whitley County, firefighters believe some fires there were set on purpose. The largest was on Tackett Road south of Williamsburg. Kentucky forestry officials say that fire is now mostly burnt out, but smoke is still visible. People who live nearby say they can't understand why someone would want to start fires with conditions being so dry.
I live here, and it's a wonder, and I've got, as you can tell, I got a 18-month-old and a 5-year-old. I mean, they could have been out here.
At this point, investigators aren't sure who set the fires. Firefighters in Whitley County say thankfully no property was damaged.
Firefighters have also been battling wildfires in Perry County. One of them came very close to some homes before firefighters could get it under control. Help is arriving from all over the state, though, to fight the fires, and Krista Moore has an update on that from Perry County.
When Kathy Turner left her house on Buffalo Run in Perry County Thursday morning, everything was normal. But then
12:30, my brother comes up and I pass on the highway and it's everywhere.
She says the entire hill was on fire.
But it got awful close and scary and smoke everywhere. You didn't know what to think. I don't want to lose home.
Fire crews worked day and night to control the flames, but they knew teams needed a strategy, and they met Thursday night to create one.
We plan for where we may need more resources, where we can move people, Maybe we have issues like equipment that needs to be fixed.
Gracie is a public information officer for the southeastern region. She drove from Frankfort and is not the only one coming from far away to help.
I think about 25 people from different areas that came in between yesterday and today.
The National Guard is not involved yet, but other workers are arriving every day to keep homes like Kathy's safe.
And I have house insurance, but still, the memories are too much to lose.
In Perry County, Krista Frost, WKYT.
And the Daniel Boone National Forest there has issued an emergency order that restricts how fire can be used in the forest. Until further notice, all open fires outside of the developed recreation areas in the forest are banned. In campgrounds and picnic areas, you can only have a campfire if it's in an existing metal fire ring or in a pedestal grill. You also cannot use candles or any open flame device outside of recreation areas. And anyone who violates that order can be fined. For the first information that comes in about these wildfires, go to our website, WKYT.com, or WKYT's news app.
Today marks the one-year anniversary of the day a Richmond police officer was shot in the line of duty. Officer Daniel Ellis died 2 days later. Richmond police and others in the community are making plans to remember him over the next few days. WKYT's Monique Blair talked to Officer Ellis's wife about how his legacy is now helping others.
Our mission is just to, continue to do good in Madison County like Daniel would have.
For nearly 1 year, Katie Ellis has been determined to keep her husband's positive, helping nature alive through the Daniel Ellis Foundation.
We've helped families who have lost their homes to fire. We've helped community members who have a hard time paying medical bills.
Katie says her husband would have been overwhelmed, but also so proud to know the impact he left behind.
On November 4th, 2015, at 10:36 in the morning, the call for help came through dispatch that Officer Daniel Ellis needed help. So tomorrow morning at 10:36, a moment of silence will be held out here in front of the Richmond Police Department, a moment to honor Officer Daniel Ellis.
To focus on each other for just a little while, on the police aspect of it.
And then on Sunday, a flag football game between Richmond officers and firefighters will be held. But this year, Daniel's son Luke will be part of the event. Katie says this will likely spark a very special memory Luke shared with his dad.
He took the game ball out for EKU about a month before Daniel died, but we have pictures from that day that are really special. So I know he remembers that memory, so every time it's kind of like remembering that again.
So even though the 1 year anniversary of her husband's death is going to be tough, Katie says whether it is randomly seeing her husband's badge number on the back of a car or a blue ribbon hanging from a light post, those are the moments that she is reminded her husband has not been forgotten.
It's just like a little sign, that he's still there and everyone still really cares.
In Richmond, Monique Blair, WKYT.
For more information on how you can get involved in the flag football game this weekend, or if you want to donate to the Daniel Ellis Foundation, go to our website, WKYT.com.
Love how the community's given her so much strength. Well, we have an update on a woman accused of hitting and killing 2 people with her car. Susan Whitlow was booked into the Fayette County Detention Center yesterday, but jail officials say she was then taken back to the hospital for more medical treatment. She is now considered an inmate. Lexington police charged Whitlow with manslaughter and DUI. They say early Saturday morning her car hit and killed Louisville Police Detective Jason Schweitzer and UK employee Timothy Moore on South Upper Street. And court documents show that Whitlow drove up onto the sidewalk and hit the 2 men. It also claims that Whitlow admitted having multiple drinks of vodka before driving. And police arrested a man just hours after police say he robbed a Rite Aid store in Lexington. Police arrested Christopher Sullivan on charges of first-degree robbery and tampering with evidence. That robbery happened after 8:30 last night at the Rite Aid in the Palomar Center near the intersection of Manowar and Harrodsburg Road. Police say Sullivan went up to the pharmacy, pulled out a fake gun, and demanded prescription narcotics. After stealing some drugs, police say he ran off. But they had some officers in the area, and they say they soon found Sullivan on Burley Avenue and arrested him. WKYT this morning just getting started. A lot going on here on your Friday. We're going to tell you about. We're rolling toward 440 now.
The famous New York City Marathon is coming up on Sunday, and this year a group of quadruplets will be competing. Their story right after Micah's forecast.
hot and chilly air now sinking in place, and that's going to stick around not only today, but maybe off into your weekend. I'm going to have that forecast coming up next.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Got a little cool feel outside earlier this morning. We're sitting there in the 40s and 50s. For the most part, most of us are actually going to finish off in the 40s, especially central and northern zones. But down south, we may finish off right around 50 degrees. Nonetheless, it is going to be a chilly start to the day and a chilly day. Upper 50s, lower 60s later on this afternoon. High school football will be sitting there in the low to mid 50s once we kick off the game. Finishing off the game will actually be there in the 40s. You better bundle up for that toward the weekend. Pretty cool weekend too. But at least it's near average. Average being right around 62 degrees. So we'll take that off towards your weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Cool for everyone and dry for everyone. It looks pretty good. Let's talk about your 7-day forecast. Here's the breakdown, 60 degrees today, and then we get a little bit better there for the weekend. We change back those clocks 1 hour Saturday night into Sunday morning, and temperatures there in the 60s. Even Saturday morning and Sunday morning, both of those mornings sitting there in the 30s, and then you could sit there by Monday off into next week. We're holding on to the 60s there in the forecast, mid 60s. So we're really not going to jump with those temperatures. I don't see many 70s, many 80s there in the forecast, and it's actually looking pretty good as we travel off into next week. So it's looking like we'll have sunny skies. Unfortunately, guys, we didn't get a lot of rain yesterday, and that's unfortunate for everybody because we're kind of in a drought situation. And not only that, but those brush fires down south. We didn't get a lot of rain down there, but we did get some, so it helped out a bit. But we just need a lot more. Unfortunately, I don't see that in the 7-day forecast anytime soon. Not even off into next week. And looking long range, looks like Saturday and Sunday, you'll really start to feel chill in the air. This may be the coldest air we have felt so far this fall. So that's next weekend, not so much this weekend. It looks pretty good this weekend.
All right, there's a hint.
Yeah, right.
What's coming, right?
Right.
Okay, thank you, Micah. The time now is 4:45 on WKYT this morning.
And this Sunday, 50,000 runners will compete in the New York City Marathon. It is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for many.
But for 4 siblings, it's historic. Jamie Yukas has that story.
Like 9-10-minute miles, or what do you think?
10, 11. Brian, Jessica, Amanda, and Maria are all participating in this weekend's New York City Marathon. However, Jessica has never run 26.2 miles before.
If they leave her, she might take a subway.
The 4 have been racing for their places in the family since they were born.
I don't think we're looking at it as a competition between us.
These quadruplets are all looking forward to passing one landmark.
We were born at Methodist Hospital, which is the course kind of goes right by, which is really cool.
They weighed 9 pounds together when born. Brian suffered a spinal cord injury in the neonatal intensive care unit that paralyzed him. That didn't stop him from becoming a Paralympian. And nothing will stop any of them from racing through New York's 5 boroughs on Sunday.
Not only is this the first time the Seaman siblings will be running together, but it's also the first time that quadruplets will be running in the New York City Marathon.
The course is the same for all 50,000 racers, but because Brian races in a wheelchair, he will start and finish ahead of his sisters. No one cares who comes in first.
Picture all the people like cheering. It's going to be unreal.
The 27-year-olds who now live across the United States are just happy to be together.
It's kind of cool to be in a situation where we're actually all in the same place, doing the same exact athletic endeavor.
And that's a victory for this family even before they cross the starting line. Jamie Yukas, CBS News, New York.
All right, we'll see how they do, and it's a victory in itself for them to be there. Time this morning is 4:46, and when WKYT This Morning returns, we have a lot more on your Friday.
Coming up, the World Equestrian Games have found a new home for 2018. We'll tell you where the games have landed coming up right after Micah's forecast. We are just 4 days away from the election, everybody, and the presidential race is getting tighter.
Both Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton are focusing their attention on those must-win battleground states, and they're getting plenty of help from their surrogates who are stepping up. Weijia Jiang has the latest on Campaign 2016.
5 days away from the change
you've been waiting for your entire life.
As time runs out before Election Day, a new CBS News New York Times poll shows Hillary Clinton ahead of Donald Trump 45 to 42% nationally. She had a 9-point lead 2 weeks ago. Clinton associated Trump with white supremacists during a stop in North Carolina.
Donald Trump was endorsed by the official newspaper of the Ku Klux Klan.
Across the state, Trump declared Clinton unfit to serve.
Hillary is an unstable person.
Voters are also hearing the candidate's messages from armies of surrogates.
He believes in America.
Trump's wife Melania visited Pennsylvania to make her first campaign speech since the Republican National Convention. Daughter Ivanka was in New Hampshire, and former rival Ted Cruz joined vice presidential candidate Mike Pence in Iowa and Michigan.
Do we believe in fear, or do we believe in hope?
President Obama stopped in Florida, his third battleground state appearance for Clinton in as many days. Her running mate Tim Kaine was in Iowa and Arizona, while former opponent Bernie Sanders and singer Pharrell joined Clinton in Raleigh.
Millions of Americans have already cast their ballots, but at least 8% of voters are still undecided.
You can make the difference, not only in who you elect, but in the agenda.
Just 13% of voters say they are excited by the campaigns. Weijia Zhang, CBS News, the White House.
And the CBS News New York Times poll also finds 49% of likely voters say they are very enthusiastic about casting their ballots, and that is down from 62% in 2012.
3 men will spend more than 2 decades behind bar for their roles in a deadly Clark County shooting 2 years ago. Christopher Robinson was sentenced yesterday to 30 years in prison for murder, burglary, and assault. Lamont Wilkerson received 27 years for complicity charges, and Aaron Staley received 25 years for complicity. In 2014, police say the 3 men were robbing people in an apartment when a shot was fired. Police say the shot went through the floor and killed Amber Cottle, who was in a neighboring apartment. The case against a 4th suspect, Lillian Barnett, is still pending. Her next hearing is in January.
State police have arrested a Perry County man after a standoff. They say they received a call late Wednesday night that 29-year-old Joshua Neese was firing shots in the Bonnyman community. When police arrived at his home on Greenbrier Court, they say he refused to come outside. They say Neese made threats and even fired shots at them. No one was injured. Police say they arrested Neese a few hours later after firing tear gas into the home. He has been charged with attempted murder.
The 2018 World Equestrian Games have found a new home. The International Equestrian Federation awarded the event to the Tryon International Equestrian Center near Asheville, North Carolina. The event was originally awarded to a town in Quebec, but that site later withdrew for financial reasons. The Kentucky Horse Park hosted the games in 2010. The state thought about putting in a bid for 2018, but decided to focus on trying to land the 2022 games instead.
Yeah, I think they thought if they really rushed things, it might
Right.
might not be cost effective, might not pull it off so well.
Think a good decision,
yeah,
yeah.
so there goes to the Asheville area. That's interesting. Coming up next, we'll have a look at some of the stories we're working on for you this morning.
And we'll have another look at your Kentucky forecast. The weekend is coming up.
Welcome back into WKYT this morning on your Friday. Coming up on 4:57, our news team busy. We're covering lots of things right now.
Now it is time to take a look at some of those stories we're working on for you this morning.
Coming up, we'll have more details about Suzanne Whitlow after she was booked into the Fayette County Detention Center. We have those new details from court documents that shed some light into what happened on the day her car hit and killed 2 people in Lexington. For one thing, those documents now say that she ran up on the sidewalk, and it's the first time we had heard that.
And we'll also have more information on the different ways family and friends will be honoring Officer Daniel Ellis over the next few days. We'll have those stories and much more coming up at the top of the hour on WKYT this morning.
Going to be an eventful weekend, lots of things happening, including the big ball game, and that weather, it's going to be a little more fall-like, so let's check in with Micah.
Yeah, and it'll actually feel like this time of year. I mean, this time of year hasn't really felt like that the past few weeks. We've been in the 70s, the 80s, but it's not going to be like that anytime soon. We're in the 40s and 50s right now. It's a little cool as you walk out the door. That sweater, that light coat may be needed. And then you hit the afternoon. You have about a 5 to 15 mile per hour wind with temperatures in the upper 50s, lower 60s. Remember, that's 4 to 5 p.m. So much of your day is going to be on the cooler side of things. What about your weekend forecast? So I'm going to have all that coming up. Another 2 hours of WKYT News.